All right, up next we have our main event of the evening, Tyson Kidd versus Sami Zayn.
Great main event. Crowd was hot into it, from chants ranging to ole, 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 to Natty's husband, to Tyson's chicken.
And it's amazing because Tyson chicken is my favorite brand of chicken. That's the only chicken that I'll eat in a quesadilla.
Interesting. I was always a Purdue guy myself, but
I like Purdue too. I do like Purdue, but Tyson is what it's all about. I mean, Purdue is... Here we are having a chicken debate. I like both. Let's move on.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't let the chicken debate fool you. This main event was worth talking about and was worth watching. Tyson Kidd, even as a heel, his offense is so much fun. He does one of my favorite maneuvers in this match where they're fighting on the outside for control, and Kidd is on the apron, and he takes the one leg and he kicks Sami Zayn hard in the face on the other end. I think that move is one of the most vicious ones in Tyson Kidd's repertoire, and he really connected with it beautifully here.
Yep. Good stuff.
There were other points. Sami Zayn flew over the top rope, knocking Tyson Kidd down, taking control. He was really selling body language that he really wanted to hurt Tyson Kidd, that this was personal for him. Does a beautiful crossbody off the top rope. So a lot of great aerial stylings. There was another point where me and Ashton both get excited because it has such a similar setup. We think, is he going to do the dungeon lock? No, he does the sharpshooter. Why he doesn't do the dungeon lock anymore, I mean, the last time he did it was a takeover. But why it isn't a regular part of his offense, I'll never understand. Zayn gets to the ropes. But it was the finish of this match that I thought was truly excellent, Ash.
Yes, we got our second combo finish of the night. Kidd is getting ready to come off the top rope. He jumps off, and Zayn catches him in that rock bottom position, swings back into an inverted STO, and wraps him up into a Koji clutch for the win. Kidd taps immediately.
The second instantaneous submission for Sami Zayn. And I think it's wonderful because here's the thing. It really shows the devastation of the submission hold when guys are instantly tapping out to a guy who, let's be honest, he's no Rusev, he's no Henry, he's no Big Show. He is a smaller guy, but
Right.
It's just so that he's so technically sound. Just like we were mentioning earlier, Benoit was with the crossface, that they know how to apply pain when they need to. And Sami Zayn has got that in the bag. I personally love that he's got a submission finisher along with, I think they call it the Kalula kick. In the corner, which we know to be the Yakuza kick.
Yakuza kick, yeah.
Which is also very brutal. So he's got a great finishing moveset. And Kidd, as you said, tapped out immediately. Zayn gets the victory. You have to wonder if Zayn is finally making the slow climb back into championship contention. I wouldn't be surprised to hear his name in conversation within the next, coming 2 months or so. So.
Yeah. I mean, this match was decent. There wasn't really anything super memorable about it other than the crowd chants and that finish, but it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't even really an average match. It was an above average match, but it's gotten to the point that I just expect that from Sami Zayn. It's like with Daniel Bryan, where, yeah, he's going to do suicide dives every match. He's going to do the kicks and the corner drop kicks. He's going to do everything that makes him awesome in every match. And you just kind of come to expect that from him. And it doesn't get any less awesome. It's just one of those things where you pop less for it because you know it's going to happen.
I think it really is a testament to the kind of performer that Sami Zayn is and that others are when their ceiling is just an above-average match.
Right, and that's the thing, though, dude. Ceiling implies the best possible. To me, that's Sami Zayn's floor.
The floor, that's really what I meant to say,
Yeah.
is the floor. Like, the worst expectation you'd have for somebody is an above-average match.
Exactly, yeah. And to me, I said this before we started recording TwitWow, and I wanted to save it on TwitWow for this match because I know that we did have a Sami Zayn segment earlier that we talked briefly about. I'm going to say it right now. Dean Ambrose is my absolute favorite guy on the main roster, and he's that guy who I will mark out for. I will pull to win, regardless of whether logically it makes sense or not, and I just kind of throw my logic to the wind and let my fandom do the talking with him. Sami Zayn has become that guy for me, secondary to Dean Ambrose. It's one Dean Ambrose, two Sami Zayn, but the gap is extremely close right now. Sami Zayn is my second favorite. He's number 2 in my fave 5, dog. Because just everything about this dude is amazing. I want him to succeed so much.
You and me both. And to hear you say that, first when you say it in conversation now publicly for our listeners to hear, I think is wonderful. because both of those guys you mentioned, Dean Ambrose and Sami Zayn, are on another freaking level. I mean, my two guys right now are Cesaro and Bray Wyatt. Two other guys
And
who I
you
feel
know
like are
what,
on another
dude?
freaking
You
level.
say those are your two guys, but Roman Reigns is one of your guys. You freak out for him,
Yeah,
dude.
I do. He's one of my guys, but let me say this. If it came down to those three guys vying for a world title, it would be that exact order. It would be Cesaro first, then Bray Wyatt, then
Right.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Because Roman Reigns, they're grooming him for that top spot. Cesaro, I've read some troubling news a little bit, and Bray Wyatt, I don't even know what the direction is. But regardless, I mean, yeah, you could definitely make the case. Those are my three guys. But Cesaro and Bray, we're talking purely top two. Those are my two guys right there, above all else. So they're all doing wonderful. And I mean, hell, Cesaro got some great shine in the NXT system, as did Bray Wyatt. NXT is a wonderful place, creating people like this. Sami Zayn is so hot with the crowd. I mean, we were talking earlier about how he needs to come up and just saying when it gets ridiculous and when it's enough. If he were to bring them up tomorrow and he was to debut on SmackDown, even though it's recorded on Tuesdays, but you all get my point, I'd be ecstatic for it, So whenever they decide to debut him, he will be hotter than anything. I think he'll achieve top babyface status quite quickly because he's just so fun to watch.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I fear that the WWE will intentionally hold him back because he's going to start out popping Cena. I honestly do. I feel like they're going to Ryback him. They're going to figure out a way to screw him over, and I think that he's talented enough to overcome it.
I think he is as well. If the World Heavyweight title was still a thing, I could see him having the overness of a Cena, but kind of treating him like a heel Christian when he was competing for the world title. Just that guy that always has some of the best matches, but consistently comes up short. I don't want them to jerk Sami Zayn around. Let him be that babyface. Let him get the pops. Let him become something bigger than himself, and stop worrying about how that's going to reflect on John Cena or Daniel Bryan or Roman Reigns or anybody. I read a couple of great comments. I had mentioned earlier how I had read some troubling news about Cesaro. Well, I guess because I can make it contextually relevant to this conversation. That news was that they were going to hold off really making him a top babyface until they were completed the Roman Reigns project. And somebody came right out and said, well, what's the problem with creating more guys at once? Why does it have to be a one guy at a time kind of thing? Why can't we create multiple top guys? I mean, isn't that what a great era is really defined by? Not that one single wielder of the beacon or bearer of the torch, but, multiple guys holding up the same thing. And I feel like, that would be the case with Sami Zayn. You could have a Sami Zayn. You could have a Daniel Bryan. You could have a Roman Reigns. You could have all these guys and not feel so insecure about it, because I would be more confident in a product that got crazy ovations for multiple guys than a product that only gave crazy ovations for one or two. It's I think it's a very backwards mindset as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it is, but you can ask Ryback just how backwards that logic really is.
Right.
And yeah, it's. I know Ryback isn't the only example of it. My mind is just drawing a blank right now. I would say, actually, you know what? I would say CM Punk is another example of it, because sure, they gave him his 434-day title reign, but he main evented, 2 pay-per-views in that time? It was all about keeping Cena on top. And the really hilarious thing is, somebody actually posted something on Reddit the other day, John Cena's quote-unquote worst year ever in 2012, that the WWE was really trying to build it up like he had just this terrible year and the worst year of his career. He didn't lose clean a single time, and he main evented 9 out of the 12 pay-per-views in that year.
Yeah, really bad year for the face of the company. Oh, I'd hate to have a year like that.
And here's the thing, dude. I said he didn't lose clean once. He also beat Brock Lesnar clean in his first match back with the WWE, and Lesnar is now the one in 21-1.
Would you believe that I wouldn't even be surprised if Cena overcame Lesnar at SummerSlam?
I know, and that's the thing. That's what makes it worth investing in, because if you're smart to the business, you can't really call it. I mean, deep down, that logically it would be completely retarded for WWE to have Lesnar lose to anyone other than a young up-and-comer who they want to take the torch for the next 10 years. But then there's John Cena. And with Cena, you have to throw all logic out, because LOL Cena wins.
Dude, that's exactly where I feel like the Usos have gotten, which is why I picked them at Money in the Bank, and I'm itching to pick them again for Battleground, but I'm still
I know, right?
sure.
I know, right? It's crazy.
Like, they've reached that same status, and that is a very toxic thing.
Yeah.
If not for the performers themselves, because, I mean, what are they going to think is toxic? They're winning, they're on TV, where's the loss there? But for the audiences, because I would really like to believe that you and I are not alone. I would like to think that there are many like us. You know, when you're that, you can't even really call yourself a babyface anymore, but you don't have the antics of a heel. You're something that there isn't even a word for in my eyes. And, you know, I would hate to see a Roman Reigns become that way, and that's a great fear of mine. But, you know, the thing is, getting back to the central discussion, what worries us most about these guys is that they're so protective that nobody else can break through. Sami Zayn, I feel like, could be a phenomenon, but yet are they going to allow that to happen? Because you know Sami Zayn would. He seems like the type of guy that's like getting straight as an arrow, very responsible. I don't think would get in any kind of petty legal trouble or anything if he was due for a big push. He'd ride that wave. I wholeheartedly believe that. But would they even allow that wave to occur? That's an entirely different discussion.
I don't know. I think it really does come down to the reaction because I don't think they ever intended on letting the Bryan wave occur, and look at how that happened.
Exactly. It really couldn't be stopped. And I think when crowds see that, you know, it kind of gets the gears turning in their heads a little bit. Like, oh, well, we did it for that guy. What else do we really have the power to do? They bombarded Batista. Batista couldn't even get out of the gate. I mean, they quickly turned him heel. They made the Bryan phenomenon occur. Could Zayn be the next great story of political machines having one idea, but we as a general audience having a completely different idea and having the latter completely realized?
Yep, so. I believe so. I mean, maybe not necessarily next, because I don't know if somebody else is going to get that treatment, Cesaro, before he gets the opportunity to, but I do think that he will be one of those cases.
Right.
Well, that's NXT.
All right, with that said, let us get right into our next segment, high spots and low shots. And my low shot is Colin Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, it was their first night back as a team. They're fired up. How you doing? And, you know, they were going to take on the Vaudevillains, who have been on quite a roll, so it would be a feather in their cap right away. They were looking dominant, looking good. Marcus Louis and Sylvester Lefort interrupt. Cassidy, still being the kind of rookie that he is, took his eye off the ball. Got snatched up by Gotch and a schoolboy with a fistful of tights. Vaudevillains escape with the victory. Cassidy escapes with egg on his face.
Indeed. My low shot is Tyson Kidd, because he lost the main event in glorious fashion, tapping out pretty much instantly to a submission hold. And the entire time he was getting Natty's husband chants. So really, if they ever want him to be even some kind of semblance of a babyface, the only real option is a mask, because no matter how hard they try, he's always... And the ironic thing is, Michael Cole said it, and if he wouldn't have said it, I don't think that it ever would have happened. But because Cole said it, it became a thing. Tyson Kidd is forever going to be known as Natty's husband.
Michael Cole eviscerated him in that interview. That has to be one of the funniest pieces of WWE footage I have seen in a long time. I just couldn't believe it happened. But don't want to get too sidetracked. My high spot is Sasha freaking Banks.
Yay!
She came in, dude, and she owned it. What I loved about this is that I think for a long time, and they've made it intentionally so, you know, commentary, the writing, everything, where it's been Charlotte and Summer being the two.
Millions of dollars.
But, you know, Charlotte and Summer being the two big attractions set for a collision. Here Sasha Banks comes out. She puts her stamp on it. She says, "You will notice me." And she gets a decisive victory over Alexa Bliss. Oh, no, it wasn't just a pinfall, my friend. No, Alexa Bliss could not take the pain. She taps out after a brilliant combo from Sasha Banks, standing on her own 2 feet and saying, "I don't need the beautifully fierce females to be the boss." It's going to be a great ride for Sasha Banks.
Heck yes it is. Heck yes it is, John.
Yeah.
My high spot, Adam Rose. It's got to feel so good to be in a place where you are well received, unlike the main roster.
Crowd loves him. Apparently the bookers love him because they give him time to be himself.
And that's another thing, dude. He won, but he didn't just win. It's not like he won against some random jobber that had nothing going on. He won against a guy who is in a tag team that is in the middle of a push. So it's not like he won against a nobody or somebody who's on a downward spiral or somebody that's losing a lot lately. He beat Jason Jordan. Jason Jordan's one half of a tag team that's getting pushed relatively heavily right now.
Right. I don't know the extent of Ty Dillinger's injury. I'm going to have to look that up after, see if that's legit, see what's going on. But they were in the middle of a push. You're absolutely right about that. Adam Rose scores the victory with the party foul. I still think he's quite exciting. Nothing wrong with this being a mid-card gimmick, but I feel like now that I've gotten my terms clarified here, I feel like if it's up to Kevin Dunn, he's always going to have his boot in Adam Rose's face, keeping it stuck to the floor, rather than at the very least allowing Adam Rose to hit his ceiling. So that's kind of my fear for him on the main roster. I hope I'm proven wrong, but when you're advertising Twisted Tea and Sonic, not a good time.
No.
So with that said, is there any other remarks you want to make about this episode of NXT?
It was a lot of fun, and this TwitWow, I believe, actually went over an hour, so we'll be breaking it into parts.
Excellent. I mean, just a lot of great stuff to talk about this week, especially after that Raw. Can't really blame us for going over an hour. We hope you guys enjoyed it. So with that said, this has been NXT. This has been TwitWow, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. Discuss on Tweetoff. And we will see you again for our Friday night SmackDown review, the last stop before Battleground this Sunday. Take care, guys. Peace.